Businesses don't stall before the sale. They stall after it. What happens next is what decides whether a business moves forward or keeps starting over. Welcome to the Midlife Business Academy. I'm Lyons, marketing strategist, business coach, and accidental techie. After years of running a successful website design agency, I'm now building the business of my dreams and helping other midlife entrepreneurs do the same. From strategy to marketing to mindset, we covered what really matters when you're growing a business that fits your life. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Midlife Business Academy. If you're done spinning your wheels, done starting over, and ready to build real momentum in your business, you're in the right place. I'm Lori Lyons, and today we're continuing our client journey series with the next two stages, convert and experience. But before we go any further, a quick note. If you haven't listened to the beginning of the series, do yourself a favor and go back and start at episode 312. This is where I introduced the foundations, the true framework for where all this work actually begins. The true framework will lay the groundwork for everything we're talking about here and in the next few episodes. It helps you trim what's getting in the way, refine what's already working. It up-levels your standards and expands only when your business is ready. Because without that foundation, the client journey can just feel like another thing to manage instead of a system that will create momentum for you. Starting there will give you the context that you need. So this series, it does what it's supposed to do. Then come back here after you've listened to episode 316 and you'll hear everything differently. So go back and start at the beginning. Start with episode 312. All right, so up to this point, we've walked through discover, connect, engage, and invite. People find you, they recognize themselves, they engage, and then they step into a decision call. That's what every one of us wait for. That yes, I'm going to be working with them. And yes, all of that has come together. And yes, or it could be, yes, I finally have a client. For some of you, it just really kind of depends on where you are in your business. But here's what most of us learn the hard way. The yes is not the finish line. In fact, it's actually the starting point of where the real work begins. Fooled you, huh? One of the biggest misunderstandings that we have in business is believing that the sale equals success. And it doesn't. A sale is simply a commitment to begin. When someone says yes, they're not just purchasing something from you, a product or a service. They're placing their trust in you. They're choosing you and your process over whatever else they've tried before or whoever else they've talked to. And that trust in the beginning is very fragile. Convert and experience are the stages where trust is either reinforced or it goes away. If it's handled well, it leads to retention, referrals, and return business. Handled poorly, it creates one-time clients and constant lead chasing. For business owners in the work it out and rock it out stages, this is where your sustainable growth lives. And we'll talk about that more in just a second. Converting isn't about convincing someone to buy. You've already done all that work. They've already found out who you are. They've learned a little bit about you. They know what your process is. You've talked to them about, what the outcomes are. Convert is actually about the commitment. It's the moment where somebody says, yes, I'm going to make a decision to do this differently. I'm going to make a decision to look at things differently. I'm going to make a decision to move my business forward in a different way. And they're choosing you to do that. Your thinking, your structure, your way of working. Which means that convert deserves intention. And it's where many times a lot of us will feel rushed. You you get the yes, you get the deposit, you send a contract or vice versa, depending on what your process is. You celebrate, and then you go to the next one. But this moment should actually be about orientation. It's about helping someone land in the decision they just made and feel steady enough to move forward. You want to take this opportunity to say you made the excellent, right decision in choosing me and my work. And the best way to do that is through the orientation just after the commitment. Because a lot of times business owners, when they start to work with you or your clients, they underestimate what a yes feels like. They start having second thoughts. They start second guessing. How many times have you gotten a call that says, oh, I've changed my mind, or I just don't think I can do this, or I just don't have the time for this. It's not that they don't have the time. They're second guessing their decision. So you want to make sure to reinforce that they made the right decision. It comes with hope. You've gotten rid of the uncertainty. You're reinforcing that they did the right thing and that it's going to work for them. And, in a lot of my clients, they will give some kind of a guarantee that this is going to deliver what it says it's going to deliver. Could be a good place to put it. The convert stage exists to stabilize the moment that they start to have second doubts. You're not going to hype them. You're not going to give them promises. You're going to give them grounded commitment. You're going to give them a grounded leadership in that they made the right decision. And when you acknowledge the decision, I want you to outline what's going to happen next. Set the expectations clearly. And then when they know what's going to happen next, it replaces uncertainty with confidence. In many of the programs that I've been in, the minute I put the deposit down, within minutes, I will get a confirmation email and telling me what's going to be the next step. Sometimes that next step is, here's a video to watch, and then our next call will be in 2 weeks. And that's okay. I know, and the expectation has been set. I'm not wondering what's going to happen next. And that gives me confidence that the work is going to actually begin. And it gives me confidence in the decision that I've made. As we've talked about throughout the series, I love the 4 stages of business: the figure it out, work it out, rock it out, and boss it out. And like everything else that we've talked about, conversion and experience look very different depending upon the stage that you're in. And this is where a lot of frustration will show up for my clients. You're trying to build conversion systems that belong to a stage that your clients aren't actually in yet. Or you focus on scaling the sale without strengthening the orientation. Both of these create friction, and both of these slow momentum. And what do I mean by that? That means that you're trying to hurry them along the path, that you're not giving them time to settle in to the decision and the commitment that they've made. And sometimes they need that a little bit. They need to They need to receive it. They need to let it flow within their bodies and say, okay, I'm ready. This is what's going to happen. So let's talk about each stage. At the figure it out stage, conversion is usually personal. This is the business owners that are typically under 100K. Conversion happens through relationships, referrals, familiarity, proximity to people, eyes to eyes, nose to nose. You're talking to people and you're meeting with people. You're not doing Facebook ads. Your job here is not to automate or overcomplicate the process. People are coming to you and buying from you because they trust you, not because you've taken them through a funnel. Your job is to keep the conversion simple, clear, and professional so that it's not confusing and you're not breaking the trust that's established. So this means that you want clear next steps, you want simple pricing, you want straightforward agreements, you don't need a 25-page contract, a smooth handoff from yes to the getting started, and that can be a simple email. When this stage is rushed or sloppy, people will hesitate. They second guess it, not because they don't want to work with you, but because the experience doesn't match the trust that brought them there in the first place. In the work it out phase, and this is where many of you are right now, you're not winging it anymore, but you're still doing a lot of improvising. I know when I was in the stage of my business, I kept adjusting and tweaking and changing and moving, and I was doing it about every 2 weeks because I was impatient. It wasn't working. I was improvising. But people are paying closer attention here. They want to understand exactly what they're saying yes to. They want to know what happens next and how they'll be supportive. They're not the cousin's family friend that's buying because they think that you're a good person. This is somebody that's probably new to you, and you need to reinforce that decision. Let them know how they're going to be supported. When that's unclear, they start to have hesitation. This is where you get a lot of hesitation in this stage. And so this is where it really matters to be clear. You want clear offers. You want a clear scope. Set a firm scope of your project, clear expectations, clear onboarding. Again, you can start with an email, but what's going to be the next step? What's going to happen next? And a lot of this is rinse and repeat. You're not recreating this for every client. You're doing this with a system. Because when those pieces are missing, even someone that's excited to work with you will pause. They'll start to overthink the decision and wonder if they made the right decision. And it has nothing to do with the price and everything to do with the experience so far. In the rocket out stage, conversions should feel consistent and predictable, not just for your clients, but for you. You've got this down. You are rocking it. You are, you can do this with your eyes closed in your sleep. It's running smoothly, and your clients expect your systems to run smoothly because they assume you've done this before, and you have. They want to feel like their yes fits into something that's already established. You're not recreating it. You're not building that airplane as you're flying it, as we've all heard that expression. It's something that you have done over and over and over again. And as a consumer, there's a lot of comfort in that for me. Every conversion should feel like a continuation, not a reset. The conversion flows into an agreement. The agreement flows into onboarding, and onboarding flows into delivery. It's flowing. Before we were clear, now it's flowing. And when the conversation is dialed in at this level, your clients will feel confident before they even start. And that confidence will carry over into the experience itself, which we're going to talk about more in just a second. And it directly impacts their results, your referrals, and repeat work that you do with those clients. At the boss it out stage, that higher level of stage, conversion often happens a lot of times without you being directly involved. You may have coaches that work with you. You may have systems that work on autopilot. People already know your work, your reputation, your results, and they're part of the community. They arrive pre-sold. Remember, boss it out is really a lot based on a big community, and this is going to work for you. But that only works when the experience has been intentionally designed at the earlier stages, because you want to build them. This is the grand finale. This is Oz. This is, you want to get people into your community. And at this level, the conversion is less about persuasion and more about alignment. Systems will handle your logistics. Your teams will handle your delivery. Your role is to protect the client and to protect the experience. Because when conversion and experience are aligned at this stage, holy moly, momentum compounds. It can't help but go forward. It's that rolling snowball down the hill. Clients come in prepared, expectations are met, results are shared, and the business grows without constant personal effort. Your constant personal effort. And your clients' businesses grow They establish relationships and a community with the other owners within your programs. Now, let's talk about experience, because this is where a lot of my clients, when we go back and we audit their client journey, we find that they're losing momentum and they don't even realize it. Experience isn't what you deliver. It's how someone feels when they're working with you. You know, the old Maya Angelou famous quote, people may not remember what you said. People forget what you did, but they will never forget how they made you feel. And this is so true in the experience stage. It's not how pretty your PDFs are. It's not how professional the videos are. It's that you are felt, that your clients are seen, that your clients felt understood, they felt supported, they didn't feel rushed, they didn't feel managed. Those emotional cues can shape their entire experience, many times more than the outcome itself. This is why two different people can get similar results from the same program, and they walk away with very different stories. One feels empowered and eager to continue, and the other one maybe not so much. I was in a conference not too long ago and ran into one of the members of a business coaching group that I was in, and didn't know her real well, but we knew of each other and we had talked some, and, we just weren't in the same mastermind, and we just weren't in the same group, but we knew each other. And it was kind of like, oh, hey, it was kind of cool hanging out together, this convention together. And, I had a decent experience. I wouldn't refer it, not because of the experience I had or didn't have, but because basically I want my clients to work with me. So I'm not going to refer her out unless they're totally a wrong fit. But her comment was, yeah, I still have PTSD from that coaching program. And it's like, whoa, that's a very different experience than what I had. Tell me more. She just felt very not seen and not heard all throughout the program. And this was a very high ticket program. And she was in there for 2 years. There was a lot of money invested and spent in order to come out the other side feeling like you have PTSD. And that is not how we want our clients to feel within the experience that we want to provide them. So she was very relieved when it was over. And it was never about the content. It was the emotions that she had layered throughout that whole process that gave her that PTSD. It was emotional for her, not how well her business did or didn't do. She could have had a great business, but if she felt strung out and wrung out, it wasn't going to matter. It wasn't going to help. She was going to end up resenting that. So here's the important part about the experience part. You're designing that emotional experience, whether you're aware of it or not. When your communication is clear, your clients will feel safe. When your expectations are set, your clients will feel confident. When their progress is acknowledged, your clients are going to feel capable. And when any of those things are missing, even strong results can give them they could come out with PTSD on the other side if you're not giving them strong results and showing them a great experience. Experiences where emotions are either regulated or amplified. And when clients feel steady, supported, and respected, they're going to gain momentum. When they feel uncertain or disconnected, all momentum will stop. And it's why the experience matters so much. It's not about adding more touch points or PDFs or videos or doing more work. It's about understanding the emotional impact of the work that you're doing. And this is true no matter what kind of coach or what kind of clients you have, especially with a one-to-one personal service. So when we talk about user experience and customer experience, and those have really become buzzwords lately. We hear those terms all the time. Entire businesses are built around customer experience. Teams are built around it. Brands invest millions in making things easier, cleaner, clearer, and more intuitive. because they know that one thing that's true: experience shapes behavior. We've all changed our buying habits because of a poor experience. We've stopped shopping at places that makes returns difficult. Hello, Amazon. Amazon has changed the whole scope of the way we feel about returns. We cancel subscriptions that are confusing or frustrating, or that we have a difficult time getting to. I've canceled apps because they just do not provide a good customer experience. I can't figure them out. And I'm pretty technically savvy at figuring stuff out. Hello, website design. So, I don't want it confusing. I want it to be simple. I don't want to have to think about it. I want a good user experience. I've left businesses before. I've left full shopping carts before for businesses that don't welcome my business. I was at a Dollar Tree not too long ago looking for something, and I did some impulse buying, and the store was a mess. There was stuff everywhere. I think it was last fall, and there was pumpkin stuff in the seasonal, the pool bubble toys that were, being clearance. There was, they were getting rid of. There was Christmas stuff coming in. There was boxes all over the place. I couldn't find anything. And when I asked the manager to help me find something, his response was, and I made a comment about I couldn't find anything and I can't get down the aisles because there's so many boxes. He says, yeah, I can't find good help now. That was my experience. So I left the shopping cart and I thought, well, I'll go to the Dollar Tree that's right around the corner from me that I do know has good help, and I do know where things are, and they do keep the store looking nice, because that was part of the experience of shopping in that Dollar Tree. So how many times do you underestimate the experience that's inside your own work? What is the experience? I've talked a lot of times about having somebody double check and go back and look at something with you. Have somebody go through your website, go through some of your programs, give them the programs, say, go through this with new eyes. Tell me what the experience is. Are the videos, are they clear? Can you hear them? Is the sound good? It doesn't matter that they're not professionally produced and they're not, the highest quality, movie screen movies, but you do want to make sure that the sound is good and that they are clear. The slides are clear if you have slides on them, because this is going to help tell your clients that the experience, that this decision was a good one, and it will give you trust in that decision. Successful clients want to keep working with you, not because they need more help, but because they value how you think, how you guide them, and how the process feels. Experience is where that desire takes root, and it's where you quietly protect the yes that was already given and prepare for what you want to come next. So a strong client experience does three things. It reinforces trust, it reduces friction, and it creates continuity. It's how you show that your work fits into the bigger arc of what they're doing. It's not pitching the next thing. It's not pushing an upsell. It's how you show up. It's how you clearly communicate, how you present, how present you are during the work, how you close the loop at the end. What are the next steps? Because when the experience is good, your clients will automatically start saying, what's next? What's the next step with working with you? Not because you've sold them on something, but because the relationship feels complete and they want to go to the next step. How many times have you been on a really fun vacation with some really good friends and you've had a great time and you want to go? So where's our next trip? You're already planning your next trip before you leave that one. So this is where we start seeding the future. Experience should always be designed with continuity in mind. It doesn't mean that every client's going to work with you forever. It means honoring the relationship enough to leave the door open so you can recap progress and transformation. Tell them where they've been, show them where they've gone, show them where they are now, show them where they can continue to go. Acknowledge what's changed in them. Tell them what the next phase might look like. Paint that picture for them. Even if it's not right now, you can start seeding what that picture will look like. You're not selling the next step. You're normalizing the progression. And this matters to those of us that think in terms of seasons, not quick wins. I want to know what the next step. I want you to help me get there. I've liked working with you. Take me there. Let's go. I worked with a health coach not too long ago who sold digital programs. Her clients loved her work. They loved the things that she did for them, the things that they worked through together. She not only, helped them with meal planning, but she helped them with the mindset. She helped them with the mindset around losing weight and getting healthy. Because if you've ever been heavy and you've lost a lot of weight, there's a lot of mindset work that you have to do around that. So they got really good results because it was a total package. And they finished the program feeling much better than they started. And then the course ended. There wasn't anything to close it. There was no acknowledgement of the transformation. There was no, yeehaw, you've lost, however many pounds. So there was no closing moment. There was no acknowledgement of the transformation. Think about Weight Watchers. It's been years since I've been to a Weight Watchers, but they used to acknowledge every bit of, every 5 or 10 pounds that you would lose, you would get a button or a star or some acknowledgement from the front of the room as you're being transformed. They would acknowledge that. That was part of their program, part of the experience. But this health coach had no acknowledgement of the transformation. There was no clear sense of what came next. Everything just stopped. The relationship just stopped. So her clients were satisfied, but they never really referred her. And the issue was not the quality of the work. It wasn't the results. It was that there was no closure. There was no moment that helped her clients recognize what had changed or where they could go next in their journey. What was going to be the next step? For a lot of us getting healthy and losing weight, that is maintenance. How are you going to help me? Oh my goodness, help me maintain this. I don't want to lose touch with my support, my support line. I want to keep going and I want you to help me maintain it. But if you don't tell me how, then I'm not going to know the next step. Her clients, they felt unfinished, even though the work itself was good. So we made one simple shift. At the end of her program, she created a personalized wrap-up video. In it, she talked about where the client had come from, where they have been, the journey that they've been on, the transformation that they've gone through. And then she outlined the next natural steps for them. There was no pressure. There was no sales pitch. It was just, if you want to keep on, this is our next step is maintenance, and this is how you do it. And that single edition, that video changed everything for her. It took her about 10 minutes to do each one. She didn't edit them. It was very simple. It was just a one-on-one, a one-to-video conversation, talking directly to her client. And then within 2 months, her referrals tripled. She went from no referrals to getting 5 to 6 a month. That made her business because people are more likely to talk about an experience that feels complete. And they're more likely to refer when they understand where the work is going to go next. Closure creates confidence. Next steps create continuity. So let's look at some of our reflection questions. Let's go back and look at all of this. I want you to ask yourselves, look at your program and how you guide your clients through the process. What is their experience? After they convert and after they say yes, what happens? How do you reinforce their decision? How do you close projects or engagements? Do your clients leave feeling finished or supported or unfinished and unsupported? And is it easy to work with me? That one's a good one because And that's one that you can ask your clients. Is it easy to work with me? Is it easy? How is it to get in touch with me? I use a calendar system with my clients. I send them my calendar when it's time for their calls. They book time on their calendar. So there's not a lot of going back and forth over who's free and when's free and what about Tuesday at 2 or whatever. We book on the calendar. And if sometimes, and it happens occasionally, that times don't match up when they need to, and I'll work with them individually and we'll find a time. But I want that to be part of the good experience of working with me. But when you go back and you answer these questions and you look at the questions and ask your clients what it feels like to work with you, that will go a long way in taking a look at what your commitment and experience looks like to your clients. Convert and experience aren't just like administrative phases. These are the relationship stages. This is where the trust becomes visible and where your reputation is built quietly, because experience will speak volumes. And it's where future opportunities for you are either created or they're stopped. So if you're ready to strengthen this part of your client journey, the next step is a Profitable Path Blueprint call. This is a conversation to see if working together makes sense and to identify where your journey is supporting your growth, where it's stalling, and what needs to shift next. You can schedule that call at talkwithlori.com and come ready to choose your direction. We're not going to circle options here. We're going to talk about where you need to go. Now, you've heard me say it before, and I still believe it. It's never too late to build the business of your dreams. But here's what I know now. The dream evolves. And when your business reflects who you are today, not who you used to be, everything starts to move with more ease. Creating this work has reminded me that growth doesn't come from doing more. It comes from choosing differently and building with intention, because momentum isn't magic and it isn't luck. It's built by design, through the decisions you're willing to make and the ones you're finally willing to stop avoiding. This is Lori Lyons, and remember, the business of your dreams is closer than you think, but it won't come from doing the same things louder. It comes from choosing a smarter path forward. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me on the Midlife Business Academy. If today's episode made you think, or made you feel, or made you feel seen, share it with a fellow business owner who could use it too. When you're ready for more support, you'll find the link to book your Profitable Path Blueprint call in the show notes. I'll be back next week with more insight and strategy to help you build a business that truly fits your life and one of your dreams. We'll see you next time on the Midlife Business Academy.